Hey guys, my name is Natalie, and today I'll be giving you an intro to the buttons on the calculator. First off, I'll tell you that I'm using a Texas Instruments TI-84 Plus CE calculator. The keystrokes I use are also the same on the TI-83, TI-84, and TI-84 Plus calculators. So, I'll start with the basic function keys. You'll find these all the way to the right on your calculator. They start 3 down from the top and are division, multiplication, subtraction, then addition. To use these keys, we select a number from the number keys in the center of the calculator, then the function, in this case I'll use subtraction, then another number using the number keys, and then press enter to find our solution. So 15, function key subtraction, minus 5 equals, enter, 10. Above the basic function keys in a circle are 4 arrow keys. These are the direction arrows that help you move your cursor around your calculator, up, down, and side to side. Next, we'll talk about the second key. The second key is located on the top left-hand corner of your calculator and is the only blue key. The second key lets you access the numbers or letters that are in blue on top of the keys on your calculator. For example, looking at the caret key, which is used to input exponents usually. Hit second and then the caret key and you get the symbol for pi. Another example would be the x squared key, which is found on the left side of your calculator. Hit it without using second and you can square something. But hit second and then the x squared key and the square root is what shows up. Next, we'll talk about the gray keys at the top of the calculator. There are 5 gray keys. The first gray key is the y equals key. This key brings you to the y equals menu, where you usually input formulas to be graphed. You can input up to 10 equations to be graphed at the same time. Right now, I'll place x squared using the x button found in the second row down, second key into y1 to give you an example. The button next to y equals is the window button. This button will bring you to a screen that gives you how far your graph will show in each direction. The standard window is on my screen right now. Next to the window button is zoom. The zoom button gives you many options that can change the window on your calculator. Zoom 6 is the standard zoom and is what I will be using. Zoom is one of the ways you can get to the graph of your function. If we hit 6 or scroll down to Z standard and hit enter, it will bring us to the graph of our function. The trace button is the next gray button. We will use the trace button in regards to second trace, which will bring us to the calculate menu on our calculator. I'll talk about the calculate menu in the next video. The next gray button is the graph button. The graph button will use the window that we selected to graph the one or more equations that we placed in the y equals menu. We will also use this button for second graph, which brings us to the table as shown in the blue above the graph button. The table gives us an XY or input-output chart of the equation. So in regards to our x squared equation, it shows when x equals 1, y equals 1, and when x equals 5, y equals 25. Now, I will show you how to return to the home screen of the calculator no matter what screen is showing. We will hit the second or blue button and then the mode button, which is next to the second button. This will be the quit button and will take us back to the original screen. By just pressing the mode button, it will take us to the mode selection screen, which has options that your teacher may want to select when working in class. Now, let's hit quit again to take us back to the home screen. The delete button is next to the mode key. That will delete whatever your cursor is on top of. Say I want to put 2 times 2 in my calculator, but I accidentally typed 22 times 2. I move my cursor to either of the 2's in 22 and delete one. Then it becomes 2 times 2. Under the second key is the alpha key, which is like the second key, but it operates the green letters or numbers above the keys rather than the blue ones. This key will be spoken more about in a later video. Under the alpha key is the math key. This key gives you some helpful functions like absolute values, which are the first option under NUM. And with this screen, you can change your answers from decimals to fractions or vice versa. So go back to your original screen and divide 8 by 12. You get this decimal, but it asks for it in fraction form. So we hit the math key and then enter, enter. This will give the decimal we just got as our answer in fraction form. The button under the math key is the exponent -1 key, which will give you an exponent of -1 on any number, or x. Under that is the squared key, which will raise numbers or x to a power of 2. As previously stated, using the caret key will help you raise numbers to a power other than -1 or 2. Under that are log and natural log keys, which will be used in later math classes with the letter E. Okay guys, that's my overview of the buttons and functions of the TI-83, TI-84, and TI-84 Plus calculators. Any buttons I didn't cover in this video will be covered in another video. Let's review what we've learned. We learned the placement and function of most buttons on the calculator. We also learned how to input an equation and graph it in y equals, and how to use the second and alpha buttons to change how the buttons act on the calculator. Thanks for watching. My next video will be on using the calculate table to find major features of a graph.